On the day of the birthday banquet, grandfather asked me which of the Ainsworth daughters I wished to marry. Without hesitation, I chose the family's fifth miss, Victoria Ainsworth, stunning the elders. After all, everyone in our circle knew that Sincere Clark, the heir to the Clark Group, was deeply infatuated with the eldest daughter, Seraphina Ainsworth, spoiling her beyond reason. In my past life, I did marry Seraphina, but barely 3 months in, I discovered Seraphina having an affair with my supposed illegitimate half-brother, Ethan Clark. Teary-eyed, she looked at me pitifully then. "Please, I'm begging you. It was truly an accident." My heart softened, but grandfather found out anyway and had Ethan sent abroad. Seraphina believed it was my doing and hated me for it. In the following years, elders in the family passed away one after another, market opportunities were consistently snatched away, and confidential company files were stolen. As for me, I was killed in a hit-and-run on the very day she found out she was pregnant. Reborn in this life, I decided to let them have their love, but I never expected that when my engagement was announced, she would show up in a wedding dress, crying and begging to marry me. After leaving the study, I saw Seraphina. She sat among the guests in a long gown, her eyes frequently glancing towards the entrance. Seeing me, her friend quickly nudged her. "Also your lapdog. Ah no, your loyal hound has arrived." "Why is it you? What are you doing here?" Seraphina glanced at me, disappointed. In my past life, I would have certainly gone to her side to coax her, but the image of the truck hurtling towards me was still vivid in my mind. I only replied coldly, "It's my birthday banquet. Why shouldn't I be here?" Sensing the stiffness in my tone, Seraphina flew into a rage instantly. "Sincere Clark, what's the meaning of this? Are you looking for trouble? I graced your birthday party with my presence, and this is the attitude I get. Don't think just because you went to your grandfather that our marriage is set." Seeing us argue, Seraphina's friend immediately chimed in, "Exactly, Sincere, what's with your attitude? Apologize to Seraphina right now. If you weren't shamelessly pestering her every day, she wouldn't even bother with you." I was speechless. "At my banquet, if anyone is unhappy, please feel free to leave. As for my marriage, it will be announced next month on grandfather's 80th birthday. It doesn't concern you, so don't trouble yourself." Although I intended to marry the fifth miss, I hadn't asked her opinion yet, even though in the past life. But now I couldn't rashly announce it here. "An marriage?" a guest asked delightedly. "It seems the two elders are truly preparing to retire. The heir to the Ainsworth group will finally be decided." The two patriarchs have been lifelong friends and should have been enjoying their retirement long ago. But this generation of the Ainsworth family only has daughters. Later they agreed whoever I married would receive Mr. Ainsworth's 20% stake in the company. In my past life, combined with the 15 Seraphina already held, marrying me made her the true decision-maker at Ainsworth. Ainsworth was about to undergo a major shift. Hearing this, Seraphina's friends exclaimed happily, "And Seraphina, you're really going to become CEO Ainsworth." A triumphant look immediately appeared on Seraphina's face. "And Sincere Clark, don't think you've won just because I'll marry you. I hate this smug look of yours the most, acting like you've succeeded through trickery. Son will learn from the lessons of the past life. I can marry you, but only if you marry into my family. And so, before we get married, arrange an important position for your pitiful younger brother." I was about to clarify that the marriage had nothing to do with her when I realized with astonishment she was reborn too. In the past life, it was a tip from an Ainsworth servant that led me to discover their affair. Reborn, she still intended to. I opened my mouth to kick them out, but a timid voice called out, "Unbig brother," from behind me. Ethan Clark approached, looking weak and frail with visible bruises on his face, drawing everyone's attention. Seeing him like this, Seraphina immediately rushed over concernedly. "What happened? How did you get like this? Who bullied you?" Before Ethan could answer, Seraphina spun around, glaring fiercely at me. And Sincere Clark is resorting to these underhanded tactics all you know? I was about to explain. But Ethan interrupted. Auntie, injury is nothing. I just stumbled on my way here. Today is Big Brother's birthday. Even though Big Brother has never liked me, I still wanted to come and wish him well. Hearing this, Serafina stared at me contemptuously. And Sincere Clark, if only you had half his magnanimity. Serafina hadn't finished speaking when Ethan gently took her arm. Gigi, don't be angry. I believe one day, Big Brother will surely let go of his resentment towards me. Serafina felt even more protective of Ethan, taking his arm. Come with me to see a doctor quickly, don't let it leave a scar. Before leaving, she didn't forget to glare at me coldly as a threat to Sincere Clark. Watch yourself if you bully Ethan again. I can't guarantee our engagement party will proceed as scheduled. With that, she pulled Ethan away haughtily. Later that evening, the birthday banquet officially began, but Ethan and Serafina were nowhere to be seen. It wasn't until the party was winding down, with only close friends chatting and some business associates trying to network, that the two finally arrived late. Serafina had changed her clothes, her face flushed, her lips slightly swollen. Ethan wore a look of smug satisfaction, faint red marks visible through his open shirt collar. Everyone knew instantly what the two had been up to. Amused glances shifted back and forth towards me. Only my few loyal friends shook their heads, looking like they wanted to say something but held back. In my past life, I would have rushed over and beaten Ethan to a pulp. But now, I simply picked up a teacup from the table and took a sip. Serafina warily shielded Ethan behind her, waiting for my outburst. But seeing me ignore them both, she frowned again, displeased. Ethan pulled Serafina towards him and started kissing her, oblivious to everyone else. Serafina didn't resist, sitting on his lap. If they wanted to debase themselves, what did it have to do with me? But my friend could no longer stand it. He pulled Serafina and Ethan apart abruptly. Ethan, Serafina is practically Sincere's fiancé. Have you no shame at all? Before Ethan could retort, Serafina snapped first. Harrison Cole? I recall several of your Cole family projects have Ainsworth investments, right? What gives you the right to speak like this?
Let me tell you, Sincere hasn't even said anything.
Who are you to lecture me? Serafina, watch your mouth. Harrison has always been a true friend to me. I wouldn't allow her to insult him. And Mr. Ainsworth hasn't retired yet. What makes you so sure I chose you, or that you'll get that 20% stake? Hearing this, Serafina froze for a moment, then burst out laughing. Laughing, Serafina said, Are you throwing a tantrum at me? Never mind that everyone in our circle knows you're devoted to me and wouldn't marry anyone else. Look at the Ainsworth heirs. The second sister married abroad, the third locks herself up doing art, and my fourth brother is such a loser he's currently doing hard labor in prison. Or perhaps you'd like to join him. As if remembering something, Serafina continued, Whatever the reason, Sincere, I hope you understand that the grudges of the previous generation are over. No matter how much you dwell on it or hold petty grudges, your mother won't come back to life. It's better for everyone to get along. Ethan is innocent. Innocent? I scoffed. When my mother was pregnant, Ethan's mother brought him to our house, causing a scene. She insisted that my father had forced himself on her and then abandoned her, aggressively accusing my mother of being the other woman. During the argument, she pushed my mother down the stairs, killing both her and the unborn child. Only later was it discovered that Ethan and his mother weren't my father's illegitimate child and mistress at all. He was the son of my deceased profligate uncle. Ethan's mother's real identity was merely a bar hostess. Innocent? How innocent were my mother and my unborn sibling? Lost in these painful memories, I fell silent. Serafina, however, took my silence as agreement and said cheerfully, "'T''re right. It's your birthday today." Saying this, she casually took off one of her earrings and tossed it at me. "Here, this is your real present." Seeing this, Ethan immediately piped up, "Sister, do you think Big Brother will really like it? He won't blame me again for taking his original gift, will he? As he spoke, he loosened the brand new tie around his collar. Serafina comforted him. Don't worry. He doesn't like anything, except things I've used. Besides, what do you mean originally his? Once I give it to you, it's yours. The two sneered. The heavy earring hit my face, its sharp edge drawing a thin line of blood. I found this utterly pointless. In my past life, I did cherish collecting things Serafina had used. The hair clip she wore when we first met, the necklace from our wedding, the watch on her wrist at the succession announcement I asked for each one, placing them in exquisite boxes as treasures and testaments to our relationship. She mocked me, saying they were just trash she'd throw away after one use, and only I would treat them like treasures. Ordinary objects become precious when imbued with sentiment. She didn't love me, so naturally she wouldn't understand. I sighed, picked up the earring that had fallen off me, and casually tossed it into the nearby trash bin. Trash belongs in the trash bin. Seeing this, Serafina was furious. Fine, sincere Clark, just wait for our wedding to be postponed. That night, Ethan and I arrived home together. He wore a triumphant expression. And brother, so what if you marry Serafina? You might get her body, but you'll never have her heart. Oh, maybe she won't even let you touch her. Without Serafina present, he finally dropped his mask of innocent purity. I could cause your mother's death, and I can just as easily steal your beloved Serafina. Sincere Clark, just you wait. Everything that's yours will eventually be mine. Ethan thought he could provoke me, but I merely glanced at him coolly. Then let me first wish you an early departure from the servants' quarters. Then, ignoring him completely, I walked straight into the mansion. Meanwhile, Grandfather Arthur Clark Sr. informed me that Victoria Ainsworth needed more time to consider. Serafina herself had probably almost forgotten she even had a fifth younger sister. Reginald Ainsworth had a daughter who renounced her inheritance to marry a police officer and become one herself. Later, both died in the line of duty, leaving only this one daughter. The father and daughter had a major falling out over her marriage. After his daughter's death, Mr. Ainsworth was filled with remorse. But his granddaughter grew up primarily in a government compound and rarely returned to the Ainsworth estate. My reminder made Mr. Ainsworth feel even more indebted. Even if she didn't marry me, he would leave her a portion of his assets. Serafina was determined to control Ainsworth, unaware that she could never gain full control. I looked forward to seeing how Serafina's life would unfold this time. On the day of Grandfather's teeth birthday banquet, all the prominent figures in our circle were present. To ensure the banquet proceeded smoothly, the doctor and I checked Grandfather's health one last time. Seeing me there, Ethan walked straight towards me. These past few days, Serafina had taken Ethan shopping at numerous luxury stores. Opening his social media account revealed post after post flaunting their intimacy. Seeing me, he approached with a smile. And big brother, sister-in-law is really too kind. She took me to buy so many luxury goods. Not only that, she personally measured me, saying she wanted to have a suit custom made for me. Seeing I was ignoring him, he continued. Sister-in-law also said that after you two get married, I shouldn't treat her like a stranger. We're all family, so it's only natural. My conversation with the doctor was repeatedly interrupted. I turned, intending to tell him to get lost, but I froze when I saw the brooch pinned to his chest. That brooch was a birthday gift my parents gave me together when I was young. My father and mother loved each other very much. Mother personally designed the brooch, and father commissioned the best craftsman in Switzerland to make it. It symbolized their wish for my lifelong happiness and well-being. Later, after that tragedy, mother's death, father's withdrawal into Buddhism, I never received another birthday gift from my parents. This brooch was one of a kind in the world. I myself couldn't bear to wear it often. I grabbed Ethan by the collar, slammed him against the corner wall, and demanded from above, "Where did you get this brooch?" Ethan suddenly choked up, tears welling. "Brother, even though you've always resented me, I've always considered you my own big brother. Sister-in-law only bought me a few clothes because she felt sorry for me. Even if you're angry, you shouldn't resort to violence. I wasn't falling for his act. My grip didn't loosen as I snarled. Tell me, where did the brooch come from? Who gave it to you? Ethan just widened his eyes innocently. Disgusted, I reached to snatch it, but my wrist was firmly grasped by another hand. A cold voice sounded behind me. Sincere Clark, what are you doing? Are you trying to assault someone in broad daylight? Serafina shielded Ethan, glaring at me furiously. Is this how your Clark family treats its own members? Seeing Serafina, I understood. Because my attitude at the birthday banquet had been cold, Serafina had said she'd come today to coax me. Ethan must have panicked and orchestrated this scene. However, I couldn't be bothered to argue with these two anymore. I pushed Serafina aside and looked straight at Ethan. On a brooch. Hand it over. A flicker of guilt crossed Ethan's face, but seeing Serafina beside him, he regained his righteous stance. Sister-in-law bought it for me. Brother, you're being too petty. You have so many nice things. Why must you snatch mine? And's that so? Where did she buy it? What brand is it? Can you even say? Someone restrain him and take off the brooch. I ordered the bodyguards forward, but Serafina immediately shielded Ethan again. I dare anyone to try. I am the eldest daughter of the Ainsworth family. Harming me means disgracing the Ainsworth name. And Sincere Clark, let me tell you, I did buy this brooch for him. Assaulting someone in broad daylight, do you think I wouldn't dare call the police? Hearing her words and looking at Ethan hiding behind her, I completely lost my temper. Serafina had clearly seen that brooch years ago. Even if she'd forgotten, with her eye for quality, she couldn't possibly fail to recognize that its craftsmanship wasn't something found in an ordinary store. Yet she still chose to side with Ethan. I laughed coldly. Fine. Call the police. Let them investigate thoroughly. Let's see if Sincere Clark is falsely accusing the innocent, or if we have a thief in the Clark family. Seeing my ruthlessness, Serafina faltered. She glanced at Ethan with some suspicion, then remembered her purpose for coming today. Sincere, I know I went too far that day, and you're angry, but we still have to get married. Before Serafina could finish, Ethan, with trembling hands, removed the brooch. Anything Juan Gigi gives me is precious beyond measure, but I don't want to anger Big Brother because of it. If Big Brother likes it, please take it. Whatever Big Brother wants, Ethan will always yield. Serafina's expression softened, but hearing his words, she snatched the brooch back. You can't give it to him, you can't let him win every time. In the scuffle, the brooch hit the edge of a planter and shattered. I completely lost control. I grabbed Serafina by the neck, my voice sharp. And do you have any idea what you just broke? Serafina gasped for breath, crying out to the surrounding people for help. The guests were shocked, pointing fingers at me. What's going on? Are these wealthy families not even pretending anymore with their dirty laundry? On quick, help, don't let someone actually get killed. With the help of the crowd creating a distraction, Ethan seized the opportunity, kicking me hard into the corner. Big Brother, I can tolerate your resentment towards me, but how could you treat sister-in-law like this? Ethan said, feigning helplessness as he supported Serafina. I never thought young Master Clark was like this behind closed doors. And seems the second young master is the decent one. He doesn't show up much, but he seems quite upright. And is this young Master Clark turning love into hate? Chasing Serafina Ainsworth for so many years without success, harboring resentment, a tisk, resorting to such methods even to keep the woman he likes. As a man, I looked down on him. The murmurs of criticism grew louder. I just stared numbly at the shattered brooch. I struggled to my feet to pick up the pieces, but Ethan stepped on my hand. Sorry, Big Brother. I clenched my fists, but was suddenly interrupted by a female voice. What are you doing? Seeing the newcomer, I suddenly smiled. She came. That means she chose me. The banquet began. Guests took their seats, offering birthday blessings to grandfather, who politely returned the pleasantries. I looked across at Victoria, but was interrupted by Serafina. Serafina paid no mind to this sister who rarely came home, only whispering a reminder to me. I can make up for what happened earlier later, but today you must announce that you'll let your brother join the Clark group. Otherwise, I won't let our wedding proceed smoothly. I remained silent, merely watching as some people around us began to flatter Serafina. Suddenly, Grandfather Arthur Clark Sr. spoke formally. "So my grandson is no longer young this year. Establishing a family and career starting a family is paramount." As grandfather spoke, he looked towards Mr. Ainsworth. Seeing this, Serafina casually smoothed her hair, anticipating the announcement. "Now, I see that Sincere and the Ainsworth family's fifth Miss, Victoria, are well suited and fond of each other. Today, I will take the liberty of arranging the marriage for these young ones. Simultaneously, I will transfer the equity. From now on, the Clark group belongs to Sincere." After grandfather finished, the guests erupted in warm applause. After a moment, people suddenly realized, wait, the Clark family was forming an alliance with the Ainsworth's fifth Miss? Serafina also froze for a second. Confirming she had heard Victoria, she looked up and asked, "Grandfather Clark, was there a mistake?" Mr. Ainsworth shot her a glance. Insolence. How can matters of marriage be treated lightly? Grandfather Clark had stated clearly, the one marrying into the Clark family was the fifth Miss Ainsworth, Victoria. Silence fell. No one dared to speak. To ease the tension, I stood up to offer thanks. "Mr. Ainsworth, I am deeply grateful for your willingness to entrust the fifth Miss to me." Mr. Ainsworth looked at me kindly, very satisfied. Who would have thought Serafina would suddenly scream, "What impossible, Victoria!" How could it be her? You must have made a mistake. She stood up, rushed to Mr. Ainsworth, and asked incredulously, "Impossible, grandfather. You must have made a mistake, right? Didn't you say before that I should marry Sincere?" Seeing this, Mr. Ainsworth shook his head. "You can't force happiness. It was Sincere who chose Victoria." Hearing this, Serafina immediately turned to me, asking hopefully, "But Sincere, it's a mistake, right? You clearly chose me that day. The grandfathers must have misheard, right?" I found it laughable and replied coldly, "No. The person I chose from start to finish was the fifth Miss. As for you, Miss Ainsworth, what makes you think I would ever choose you?" Hearing my words, Serafina looked up in astonishment, disbelief in her eyes. She stumbled backward, bumping into a table corner, jolted as if from a dream, and suddenly shrieked, "You're lying. The one you love is clearly me. Everyone in our circle knows you love me. How could you choose her? That illegitimate daughter whose mother was kicked out of the family." Hearing this, Mr. Ainsworth's face changed color instantly. Mr. Ainsworth had felt guilty towards his younger daughter for years. How could he allow Serafina to spout such nonsense? He hastily ordered the butler beside him. "What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and take Miss Ainsworth home." The Ainsworth family members snapped back to reality and moved to drag Serafina away. Seeing the situation turn against her, Serafina immediately screamed, "One grandfather, it must be a mistake, Sincere, and I have long been in love and pledged our lives to each other, grandfather. Are you just going to watch Sincere abandon me after having his way?" Serafina clung to this like a last resort, shouting desperately. The guests exchanged glances. Hearing this, Victoria also frowned slightly in displeasure. I calmly stepped forward. "Mr. Ainsworth, I don't know why Miss Ainsworth is saying these things. I have always regarded her as a younger sister, never crossing any lines, nor have I ever had any other intentions. The person Miss Ainsworth speaks of, the one she's deeply in love with, perhaps that's my cousin, Ethan Clark." Serafina stared at me, wide-eyed and panicked. "Oh no, that's not it. Sincere, I've only ever wanted to marry you. How could you?" She paused as if struck by a realization. Oh no, you're angry because I didn't side with you just now, so you're using Victoria to provoke me, right? And the other day. You were angry because I left with Ethan and ignored you. Sincere, Ethan and I were just trying to make you jealous. I was only teasing you. You're the only one I truly love. I looked at her coldly. Miss Ainsworth, please watch your words. Whomever Miss Ainsworth likes is her business, but the only person I have ever wanted to marry is the fifth Miss. Hearing me say this, Serafina suddenly went berserk, struggling fiercely to grab me. Sincere, you can't treat me so coldly and cruelly. How could you do this to me? Seeing this, Harrison Cole immediately blocked her. Harrison Cole, whether in the past life or this one, always so righteous. In the past life, he warned me several times about Serafina, but unfortunately, I didn't listen. In the end, the Cole family's downfall also involved Serafina's machinations. Seeing Harrison blocking her way, Serafina yelled, "Son, you, surnamed Cole, get out of the way. What status do you have to speak here?" Harrison remained unfazed, recounting the events of my birthday party to the crowd. Mr. Ainsworth could finally bear it no longer. "Silence, you disgraceful offspring, you've utterly shamed the Ainsworth family. And guards escort Miss Ainsworth back immediately without my permission. She is not to leave the Ainsworth residence." As Serafina was forcibly dragged away, she remained defiant, shouting stubbornly, "Unsincere, the one you love most is me, right? You don't even know, Victoria, you're doing all this just to spite me." I paid her no further attention, gratefully clapping Harrison on the shoulder. Besides, Victoria and I did know each other in our past life. Overnight, word spread throughout our circle. The eldest Miss Ainsworth had publicly thrown a tantrum to marry into the Clark family. The fifth Miss Ainsworth had secretly maneuvered her way into a marriage with a wealthy family. I ignored the gossip. Having just taken over the Clark group, there was a mountain of work requiring my personal attention. But no matter how busy, I had to make time to see Victoria. In my past life, I handled many projects at the Clark group. One involved contracting for certain military materials, and the liaison was Victoria. In the past life, Victoria hadn't returned to the Ainsworth family, but with her outstanding academic record, she had successfully joined a military weapons research institute. After my car accident, I was taken to the Ainsworth family's private hospital. There was still a chance of survival, but Serafina refused treatment, and I ultimately died from blood loss. My death was sudden. Amidst the internal chaos at Clark Group, everyone was busy scrambling for power and profit. Only she came to see me. Before my lonely gravestone, she gazed at my photo and murmured, "If I had known it would end like this, I shouldn't have given you up to her so easily back then." Reborn, I changed my choice, but now facing her, I suddenly felt a little unsure of myself. Seeing my hesitant expression, Victoria asked softly, "Is something on your mind?" "Yes." "I was curious why you agreed, since we haven't really met." "I was thinking if you didn't agree." "And what if I hadn't agreed?" "Would you have married Serafina?" Victoria interrupted before I could finish, the question seeming very important to her. I paused for a moment, then assured her, "No, I would not marry Serafina. Even if you hadn't agreed, I would have simply given up the marriage alliance. Business deals can be remade, but I couldn't betray my own heart and be with her." Fearing she might misunderstand, I continued to explain, "But before, you seem to like her very much? I once had very loving parents. After what happened, I blindly pursued an imagined perfection. Only at death did I realize I was just deceiving myself, because I was very young then. Without latching onto something like love to sustain me, life felt meaningless. Only later did I understand that couldn't be called love." Victoria and I agreed. 3 years. If after 3 years we felt we weren't suitable for each other, we would let each other go. As for why she agreed to my proposal, she still didn't tell me. But in this life, I have a lifetime to find out. Our marriage was set, with the engagement banquet scheduled for next month. The two grandfathers wished to honor tradition, so these past few days the traditional betrothal rituals were observed, and a stream of betrothal gifts flowed into the Ainsworth home. Today I was confirming the details of the engagement banquet with the house manager. Unexpectedly, Serafina found me. Her eyes were red-rimmed, as if she had been crying for a long time. She grabbed my wrist, pleading pitifully for me not to be angry with her anymore. I silently pulled my hand away and asked the manager to escort her out. "I've apologized, and I've been punished. Why are you still angry? Do you really need me to cut off all contact with Ethan forever before you'll give up marrying Victoria?" I laughed in surprise. "Why would you think I'd give up marrying Victoria? It's impossible. What right does Victoria have? You haven't even met her. How could you possibly like her? Sending all those gifts these past few days, weren't you just putting on a show to provoke me into apologizing? You're far too self-important. Do I need anyone's permission to send gifts to my own fiancé? Enough, Sincere. Marriage isn't child's play. It's not too late for you to go tell grandfather you've changed your mind." I asked, surprised. "Why do you call it child's play? I sincerely want to marry Victoria. Even without her, it wouldn't be you." Serafina stared at me incredulously. "It's impossible, Sincere. Do you dare say that again?" I didn't want to talk to a madwoman anymore, and ordered her to be forcibly removed. As she was leaving, she yelled, "And Sincere Clark, just you wait, you'll regret this." No sooner had I sent one away than Ethan arrived in the courtyard. Sincere Clark, quite the strategist, pulling in Victoria, making both Ainsworth sisters fight over you. You did so much, wasn't it all to get Serafina, to get the Ainsworth group? Unfortunately, you chose the obscure Victoria Ainsworth. You really miscalculated. Sincere, I told you long ago, apart from your birthright, you have nothing. Because of what happened to my mother, Ethan's mother went to prison, and Ethan was barred from entering the Clark group. Despite this, he never lacked for food, clothing, or expenses. The servants' quarters story was just something he fabricated to gain sympathy. His actual accommodations were only slightly smaller than mine. In the past life, once sent abroad with no one overseeing him, his life became even more unrestrained. I was quite curious how things would turn out for him in this life. After that day, Serafina started messaging me frequently. She blocked and deleted all of Ethan's contact information, begging me to change my mind. I continued to ignore her. It wasn't until 10 days before our engagement party that Serafina finally went silent. I felt uneasy and instructed my assistant to keep a close eye on her. On the day of the engagement banquet, guests filled the hall. Victoria wore an elegant gown that accentuated her ethereal beauty. Guests offered congratulations. The two grandfathers sat at the head table, their faces beaming. Her fair hand rested on my wrist. I felt its faint warmth. Neither Ethan nor Serafina had come. I felt a sense of relief. It was best if they stayed quiet. The engagement banquet began. Guided by the MC, Victoria and I walked onto the stage. Besides her grandfather Reginald, Victoria had no other close family present, only two well-built men accompanying her closely. I took Victoria's hand, about to place the engagement ring on her finger. Suddenly the banquet hall lights dimmed. The large screen on stage starkly displayed several words: "Exposed, scumbag, Sincere Clark, homewrecker, Victoria Ainsworth." As the screen lit up, guests immediately began murmuring among themselves. It was Serafina. As expected, she couldn't hold back any longer. "Everyone, come see what Sincere Clark and Victoria Ainsworth, these hypocritical dogs, have been doing behind everyone's backs." As she spoke, the large screen showed some childhood photos of Serafina and me together. "Look everyone, Sincere Clark and I were childhood sweethearts. He's been my boyfriend since we were little. We were deeply in love, and I even gave myself to him. But who would have thought this homewrecker, Victoria, would come along and seduce Sincere? They conspired together, even stealing my inheritance rights to the Ainsworth group. How can people like this deserve to be the head of the Clark Group? How can they deserve to inherit Ainsworth? Serafina cried and shouted, her voice choked with tears. Her act was full of genuine emotion, successfully evoking sympathy from the crowd. I heard before that young Master Clark was supposed to marry the eldest Miss Ainsworth. No idea how it suddenly became the fifth Miss. To where did this fifth Miss Ainsworth even come from? Never heard of her before. Could she really be the third party? I bet she is. Those two grew up together. What else could she be but the mistress? This young Master Clark seems unreliable too. I thought he looked steady and devoted, but look at this mess he's made. The Clark Group might be doomed. Instantly, public opinion tilted towards Serafina. I was about to explain when Beatrice Ainsworth rushed out, cursing loudly. Sincere Clark, you heartless beast, you got my daughter pregnant and now you want to be with this outsider woman. Do you have any conscience? Her words caused an uproar. Serafina pretended to be weak, pulling at her mother. Oh, mother, please stop. Didn't I ask you not to say anything? Even though Sincere betrayed me, I still cherish our past feelings and can't bear to abort this child. And Grandfather Clark, please rest assured I won't disturb them. I'll give birth to the child myself and raise him alone. I only beg you, let me keep this child. It's the only thing I have left to remember him by. In a corner of the banquet hall, a camera was already secretly live streaming the entire scene. Netizens quickly flocked to the live scene. Didn't they say the Clark family had strict upbringing? Is this the kind of person they raised? Victoria definitely looks like the mistress who knows what she does for a living. Shamelessly climbing the social ladder like that. Sincere Clark and the eldest Miss Ainsworth went to the same high school and university. Looks like Sincere really is a cheating scumbag. Victoria was about to explain, but I stopped her. We already knew Serafina wouldn't stay quiet, but seeing so much vitriol, Victoria still felt wronged on my behalf. I squeezed her hand reassuringly, then stepped forward, looking at Serafina. The calmer I appeared, the more uneasy Serafina became. She then started crying pitifully. Sincere, even now, you still want to mock me? My expression turned serious. I looked straight at Serafina and asked solemnly, Serafina, I'll ask you one more time. You claim we were childhood sweethearts and pledged our lives to each other, is that right? Serafina frowned but still answered, Of course we grew up together. You even said you wanted to marry me. Tinteo, in that case, what is this? Saying this, I tapped my phone, and the large screen displayed photos of Ethan and Serafina kissing and being intimate in various settings. Among them were several pictures from their student days. After being reborn, I had been investigating Ethan and Serafina's relationship. Unexpectedly, their connection went back much further than I thought. The crowd was stunned again, looking at Serafina incredulously. Seeing the screen, Serafina's face showed a flash of shock, but she immediately tried to argue. That's not real Sincere. Not only did you cheat first, now you're photoshopping pictures to frame me? Have you no bottom line? Kiddo? I looked at Serafina, my eyes full of amusement. Serafina was flustered but still vehemently denied it. So the photos could be fake. What about hotel check-in records and surveillance footage? With another tap, the screen displayed lines of records and videos of the two entering a hotel room together, arms entwined. This hotel was one of the Ainsworth family's core properties. Serafina never expected that in just 1 month. Victoria had already gained control of all the core departments of the Ainsworth group and retrieved these records. The online netizens exploded. Wow, plot twist, this woman plays around quite a bit too. And damn, saying she's deeply in love with one guy while inseparable from another man? Who could tolerate that? If it were me, I wouldn't dare marry her. And, so it's reversed. Then whose baby is in her belly? Who knows? The rich circles are truly messy. Serafina looked completely deflated. She never imagined I was not only wary of her, but had also thoroughly investigated her actions over the years. But Beatrice Ainsworth still refused to back down. What about the child? This is Clark family flesh and blood once born. He'll be the eldest legitimate grandson of the Clark family. Are you willing to abandon him? So what if my daughter wanted to let loose a bit before marriage? No matter what, you shouldn't abandon the child to marry another woman. I sneered and dragged Ethan Clark into the hall. As soon as Ethan heard about the baby, he immediately hugged Serafina. Wan, is it true you're pregnant? Marry me or I can marry into your family. I want to be with you forever. Seeing Ethan, Serafina instantly changed, trying to kick him away. Get lost, this can't possibly be your child. Ethan clung to her shamelessly, shouting, It must be you've been with me constantly for the past 6 months, haven't you? Wan, this is our child, Serafina screamed, trying to push Ethan away, but it was too late to explain. Arthur Clark Sr. and Reginald Ainsworth could no longer watch this spectacle. They ordered the guards to quickly drag the two away. Seeing the situation was decided, Serafina still wouldn't give up, screaming, Unsincere Clark, do you think Victoria is any better? Didn't you see those two men constantly sticking close to protect her? What's their relationship? Do you dare ask? Can you even explain it clearly? Hearing this, I glanced at Victoria. She nodded at me and stepped forward. I can explain this. Sinai am a key researcher working on classified state projects. My return this time included plainclothes officers assigned by my superiors to ensure my safety. Her statement caused another wave of astonishment. Mr. Ainsworth looked at Victoria with relief and immense pride in his eyes. Serafina became hysterical, but I still felt uneasy. She could harm me, but she shouldn't drag Victoria down with her. Serafina, since you're so concerned about me, let me offer you a friendly tip as well. Saying this, I played a short video clip, Ethan being intimate with a tall man. In the clip, Ethan was submissive, while the man acted domineeringly. The crowd fell silent, but everyone understood the implication of this secret. Serafina was completely stunned. She turned around and slapped Ethan hard across the face. Finally, the live stream was shut down by the platform. But the wedding of the Clark Group heir and the Military Research Institute scientists received blessings from countless people. Afterwards, Serafina and Ethan were never seen in our circles again. After we were married, I asked Victoria why she had chosen me. She said it was something from our school days. Orphaned and bullied, I had spoken up for her out of kindness. I had vaguely heard a teacher mention this special student during a student council meeting. When I defended her, I hadn't connected her to the Ainsworth family. Later, the Ainsworth Group shares were all transferred to our children's names. Victoria continued her research work, serving the country. And I, no matter how busy, always made time to pick her up and bring her home. And so we began our happy and fulfilling life together. The end.